I'd like to call this meeting of the Herkimer County Legislature to order, and I ask Mrs. Dunning to lead us in the pledge of flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I ask that you remain standing for a moment of silence for our veterans, both past and present. Thank you. Clerk will call the roll.
Hartman. Here. Rose. Here. Schrader.
Here.
Manine. Here. Johnson.
Here.
Hendricks.
Here.
Hyde.
Here.
Krasinski.
Here.
Mano.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Bono.
Here.
Ackerman.
Here.
Kaplinski.
Here.
Horst.
Here.
Russell.
Here.
Shaw.
Here.
Wheatley.
Here.
Quorum's present. Pursuant to Rule 8, are there any objections or corrections to the minutes of the May 15th meeting? There are none. I'll order them approved. Reading in full of claims disallowed by the auditor and presented for audit by the legislature. And there's nothing on the desk. We'll dispense with the regular session to allow for a presentation of proclamation and call upon Fred Shaw, legislator from Salisbury, to make the presentation.
Whereas the Herkimer County Legislature recognizes the importance of the county's 150 dairy farms and the cooperating agribusiness and producing milk by caring for 13,000 cows, tending our soil and water resources, creating and retaining jobs, and appreciates the nutrition's convenience and affordability of wholesome milk. And whereas milk and real dairy products are nature's most perfect food, whose protein, natural sugars, vitamins, calcium, and minerals contribute so much to our health and vitality all year long. Whereas we also set aside time to pay tribute to the County Dairy Princess Program's 50th year in representing dairy farmers and their milk supply and their life's work by speaking to children and adults at schools and community events. Whereas we salute this year's new dairy princess, Rebecca Jenkins of Norway, and alternate dairy princess, Victoria Treadwell of Mohawk, for their enthusiasm and passion in telling the story of milk. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Jim Bono, Chairman of the Herkimer County Legislature, do deem it fitting and appropriate to proclaim the month of June 2013 as Dairy Princess Import Week and Dairy Month in Herkimer County, and encourage all citizens to join in the celebration. Given under my hand and the great seal of Herkimer County, New York, in the year of our Lord, 2013.
Let's say a few words. Ladies?
Well, I am, of course, Rebecca Jenkins, the Dairy Princess, and this is my alternate, Victoria Treadwell, and we are honored to represent the dairy industry for Herkimer County. Thank you.
What do you have for us tonight? What's the name?
This is milk punch. It's very good. It is 1 gallon of milk with 1 concentrate of apple juice, as well as a gallon of ice cream. It's very good. And a little bit of cinnamon, too.
Thank you very much.
Very good.
And now I'd like to call legislator Robert Schrader up to make another presentation.
At this time, I'd like to ask the Solelli family to come up. It's going to be a great honor to award Christina Solelli the award from Herkimer County Legislature We are very proud to have you, I'm very proud to have you as a constituent in my district. Hertford County is very proud of you to be in Hertford County, to have your picture to be hung at the U.S. Capitol building for your Congressional Art Award in Herkimer High School. Here, this is Jim Bono and the rest of the legislature.
Yes, we have a photo, a picture of the picture. It's gorgeous. I think everybody, there it is.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful. It's hard to believe. Of course, I can't draw a straight line. We'll now have comment period by the residents. I will ask that you hold your comments in 5 minutes apiece with a total of 30 minutes. So I'll first call upon Mr. Frank Maricini, and he's from Brookfield, New York, and the subject matter is the sale of county property.
Mr. Bono, Mr. Malone, Mr. Gorse, and Herkimer County legislators. You should be in receipt of a letter dated June 12th to Chairman of County Properties, Mr. Dennis Gorse. In reference to tax map number 137.2-2-15.2, 129 State Route 51, West Winfield, New York, I am submitting an offer of $23,100 to purchase the above Herkimer County-owned property. Enclosed, you have a copy of the check for $23,100. Please consider your fiduciary duties to accept this offer, as it represents an additional gain of $7,000 to the County of Herkimer over the current offer you would be now considering. I understand that all sales are subject to confirmation by the County Properties Committee and final approval by the Herkimer County Legislature. I also realize the County of Herkimer reserves the right to reject any and all bids at any time. That is why I'm presenting this to you, and also requesting that you accept my offer, as it is the highest offer you have on this property and represents the most gain to Herkimer County. I also believe there's nothing that legally bars you from accepting this offer. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now move on. Communications received by the legislature and committees to which they have been referred are listed on the agenda. Does any member of the legislature request a mention any particular communication? Mr. Mann.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to have 197 read, please.
Clerk, read 197.
The one from NYSEC?
No, the one from Senator Seward,
Oh, okay.
197.
Yep. This is to acknowledge.
It's an update on current issues.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
194.
Yeah, it should be 190. Right, it should be 194. This
It is from Senator
number.
Seward, and he's giving an update to continue to advance agricultural concerns. And he has 3 bullet points. One is Senate Bill 1081A that would combat rising energy costs by creating a grant and low-interest loans to help dairy farmers install advanced energy technologies. Senate Bill 1952 would help keep property taxes in check by modifying the agricultural assessment program. And Senate Bill 978, the Buy from the Backyard Act, would expand on existing law and require state agencies with food contracts to purchase at least 20% of their food from local farms.
Thank you. I think it's appropriate having the dairy prince here.
Okay.
Anyone else? All right, pursuant to Rule 6, Number 8, reports of standing committees. I'll ask any committee chair to give an update or on the progress of the committees. Any committee chair wishing to speak? Mr. Shaw.
We did have a sewer on water meeting last night, and the open enrollment for The Schuyler Newport District already has over 6,000 acres enrolled, and they expect that to double by the time it's done. So I'd like to kind of thank the prior legislature for having the foresight to recognize that Schuyler and Newport area were going to be growth areas in the county. That this will be the 40th renewal or the 5th renewal, which means 40 years that thing's been in existence.
Anyone else? Mr. Mann?
We had an education meeting tonight, and we're going to have a public hearing on the HEC budget on July 3rd.
Anyone else? I just want to, although I'm not on the chair of the committee, although I newly elected or newly appointed member to the Solid Waste Authority, I just want to let you know that Solid Waste Authority been updated on that, and it's quite the operation they have over there. Right now, the second generator is online. There's a gas generator that all the methane gas that's created from the landfill produces electricity for over 3,300 homes. So there's the second one is online, so it's a great accomplishment for that. And they'll keep building as that goes on. So I'll try to give updates as I get them. All right. Now continue on with the consent agenda. Will the clerk please read the title of each resolution on the consent agenda?
144 is Public Safety Emergency Management with the monthly report of performance. 145 is Planning and Development adopting annual report of the Youth Bureau. And 146 is Ways and Means adopting annual report of purchasing agent.
I have a motion, Mr. Hyde. Second. Mr. Johnson. Any debate? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Resolutions or consent agenda will pass.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
point of order, you may have missed it, acceptance of the minutes of the preceding session. Then I must have been asleep. Thank you.
Thanks anyway. Checks and balances. Go on to our regular agenda, number 147.
The Committee on Ways and Means authorizing extension of contract with Town of Salisbury for the county to provide data collection service.
This resolution authorizes the extension of a contract with the Town of Salisbury for the county to provide data collection services. May I have a motion? Mr. Shaw, second by Mr. Russell. Any debate? Mrs. Rose?
I must have missed the discussion on this. I wonder if you could know, I know that there has been discussion in committee meetings about these contracts and whether we are actually recovering the costs that the county expends in meeting the service for these communities. And it's been discussion in committees at various times. Could we just have an overview on what this is offering and whether the price is different, and if not, why we're continuing it and what benefit it has to us? I think we've heard it before, but I think it's pretty helpful.
And Ms. Sedgwick, would you like to, can you answer that?
Contract for the annual renewal, and it's done on a per place basis. Depending on the property, it's a set price for residential, and which is $15, $32 for commercial properties. And then included with that would be an additional charge for mileage. It does pay for itself.
Anyone else? Mr. Cordes?
If I could direct a question to also, you have staff and budget. You have a budget that will absorb this cost, and it'll pay for itself, and the staff without hiring any additional staff, correct?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone else? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Resolution 147 passes. Number 148.
Ways and Means, the Planning and Development amending budget in connection with receipt of TANF.
This resolution amends the 2013 Herkimer County budget to reflect receipt of TANF Summer Youth Fund program funds. May I have a motion? Mr. Poplinski, second by Mr. Ackerman. Any debate? Mrs. Rose?
Mr. Chairman, I also think that this particular program would be, have a little bit of a discussion on what we're accomplishing with this. I was fortunate to have a few youth in my area that have gone to the, down to the One Stop and have been able to access summer employment through this program. And if it would be possible, just so that people were educated on what it is.
Anyone want to take the, Mr. Russell? Can you give us a synopsis?
Well, I can give you a little bit, Mr. Ross could give you more, but primarily, TANF funds are for children that might not make it, children's parents that might not make as much money, they fit under a criteria, and they offer jobs for them. because of that. I don't want to offend anybody by saying something different. So Mr. Wallace, would you take that?
Wallace?
It's a summer program we've had for an awful long time. The money comes from the federal government through the New York State government. Comes to our Commissioner of Social Services, who allocates it to the One Stop under Mrs. Zipko. We'll serve about 75 to 80 kids. There's different criteria to make those kids eligible. Also, and you see in the contracted services, possibly $5,000 if our kids, I call them our kids, are part of the summer bus program. That would be reimbursed back to the county for those kids to take the trip up to Old Forge.
Just the age on these children are different than the jobs that we as legislators allocate.
14 to 21.
14?
To 21.
Thank you.
What else?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Corsi.
I'd like to praise Kathy Salteri, who discreetly screens these kids and steers them away from the legislature program and onto this program without any embarrassment for some of these kids. She does a real good job of handling it.
Absolutely.
Very tactful.
Anyone else? All those in favor, aye? Any opposed, nay? Resolution passes. Number 149.
Ways and Means, Planning and Development, amending budget projection of receipt of additional funding and employment and training.
This resolution amends the 2013 budget to reflect additional revenue received from the Employment and Training Administration. May I have a motion? Mr. Weekly, second by Mr. Shaw. Any discussion or debate? I'm sorry. All those in favor, aye? Any opposed, nay? Resolution passes. Number 150.
Ways and Means concerning health insurance broker services.
This resolution authorizes a contract with Gilroy, Kernan & Gilroy to provide health insurance consulting services. May I have a motion? Mr. Russell, second
Second.
by Mr. Corsi. Any debate? Mrs. DeBrose.
Mr. Chairman, when this was discussed at last week's Ways and Means Committee, we know that this firm was the recipient of the contract that ran from August 1st, 2010 through July 31st of this year. And the kind of service that they're providing for us, perform health insurance consultant services in the area of risk management, ongoing analysis, review, and evaluation of current county health insurance plans, as well as solicitation of proposals and quotes from insurance providers as to renewals of existing insurance. I think that I had asked at that meeting and have been assured that this Gilroy, Kernan & Gilroy will come in and meet with the committee, or one of the committees, to talk about how they're doing this. This is a professional service contract. I've learned since I sat here in this legislature that it's not bound by competitive bid. I understand that there were quotes when the contract was first issued in 2010. And I do think that we should have reached out and sought interest to see if there's other firms that can provide these services and see how creative or innovative they might be and be able to contrast with the service that we're getting from Gilroy, Kernan & Gilroy. I have no reason to suspect that we're not getting a good service from Gilroy, Kernan & Gilroy. It's just that the marketplace could dictate perhaps some innovation, and it would have been incumbent on us to try to seek that. Thank you.
More debate? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Resolution passes. 151.
Human Resources, Ways and Means, awarding bids for transportation of preschool handicapped children.
This resolution awards a bid to Bernie Bus Service to provide transportation of preschool children under the Education and Handicapped Children Program for the period of from July 1st, 2013 to June 30th, 2014. Can I have a motion? Mr. Smith, second. Mr. Hendricks. Any debate? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Resolution passes. Number 152.
Human Resources, Ways and Means, authorizing contract for the county.
This resolution awards a contract with D'Arcangelo and Company to provide cost reporting services for the public health nursing service. May I have a motion? Mr. Smith, second. Mr. Russell. Any debate? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Resolution passes. Number 153, roll call.
Administration, Veterans Affairs, Ways and Means, authorizing temporary staffing.
This resolution authorizes 2 temporary staffing changes in the County Board of Elections office. May I have a motion? Mrs. Manine, second by Mr. Johnson.
second, Mr. Chairman.
So noted. Any debate? Mrs. Rose.
Mr. Chairman, I know for the Democratic Board of Elections staff, the current incumbent Kathy Camilio will be retiring, and this resolution will allow for proper training and coverage during her final days, and then provide some coverage during the time that she's allowed to use accrued leave. I just would want to comment that Kathy has been an outstanding employee, resource, I think, across party lines, a woman of character, politeness, and demeanor, and I think she's done an outstanding job. And as far as the Republican person, I'd let someone else speak to it, but I have known Sandy Zeman for years, and while she will be retiring later, this also affords staff to be trained with her, and I find her equally receptive to people, helpful to people, and a fine lady. Thank you.
I concur. Mr. Hartman.
Well, I was just gonna say, I second that motion on both of them, but I think everybody agrees that you do a sharp job.
Good job, a lot of knowledge. Thank you. And roll call. Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Weekly?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Schrader?
Yes.
Manning?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Hyde?
Yes.
Krasinski?
Yes.
Mano?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Bono?
Yes.
Ackerman?
Yes.
Kaplinski?
Yes.
Force?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Resolution passes. Number 154.
Human Resources resumes authorizing renewal of contract with the State Department of Health.
This resolution authorizes the renewal of a contract with the State Department of Health and amends the budget in connection with the receipts of funding for the Herkimer County Health Net. May I have a motion? Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Shaw. Any debate? Mrs. Rhodes.
Comment again, Mr. Bono, in this particular case with Ripon County Health, that I think that we have, I know I'm a friend on Facebook, they do lots of neat things. The funding, of course, is that one of the means that allows them to do it. I'm looking forward, Mr. Wallace has agreed to set up a meeting where they will come in and speak to us specifically about their program in greater detail. I look forward to that. Thank you.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution passes. Number 155.
Ways and Means appointing members to Ethics Board.
This resolution reappoints Kathleen Eisenhout as a member of the Herkimer County Ethics Board. May I have a motion? Mr. Hyde, second by Mr. Kaplinski. Any discussion or debate? Mr. Hartman.
I'd like to propose an amendment to the resolution. And after the third paragraph, I would add, whereas by letter dated October 15, 2012, John Brzezinski, Minority Leader of the Herkimer County Legislature, nominated Donald C. Bronson, 1077 East German Street Extension, Herkimer, New York, to serve a 3-year term on the Herkimer County Ethics Board. Now therefore be it resolved that upon nomination of the minority leader of this legislature, Donald C. Bronson, 1077 East German Street Extension, Herkimer, New York, is hereby appointed to the Herkimer County Ethics Board for the term to expire April 1, 2016, and be it further resolved that certified copies of this resolution be forwarded to the Herkimer County Treasurer, Auditor, Budget Officer, Kathleen Eisenhout, and Donald Bronson.
Second that.
Second was made on the amendment. Any debate? All those in favor of the amendment?
I'd like a roll call vote.
I'll allow roll call vote. Clerk will call the roll.
Krasinski?
Yes.
Mano?
No.
Smith?
No.
Bono?
No.
Ackerman?
Yes.
Kaplinski?
No.
Force?
Yes.
Russell?
No.
Shaw?
No.
Weekly?
No.
Hartman?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Schrader?
Yes.
Manning? No. Johnson?
No.
Hendricks?
No.
Hyde?
No.
The amendment's defeated. On the original,
What was the vote?
roll please.
11, yeah.
11 to 6, yes.
6 to 1.
On the original, any more debate? Mrs. Rose.
Mr. Chairman, our county ethics board is made up of 3 individuals. The placement according to the policy and procedure is one is nominated by the Democratic majority, one by the Republican majority, and one by the chairman of the legislature. You are renewing Mrs. Eisenhout, who served a part of a term, completed a full term, and now you're appointing her, renewing her appointment. I understand that when this legislative body fails to advance a nomination, the individual is in holdover. What I first took a seat on this legislature and I asked who are on the ethics board, I think they had to search the records to find out who it was and when were they, because their terms had long since expired. The Republican majority nominated last fall, I believe it was, Mr. John Pizik, a former member of this legislature. And so that went through. I think one of the things that bothers me on this is that this is an opportunity. It's a board that does not seek out conflict. If an individual has a question of an ethical dilemma, they bring it to the board. And when they bring it to the board, you have that representation of one Democrat, one Republican, and then the one appointed by yourself. The fact that, as was said in the committee, that our nominee had offended some of you when he came as a citizen and questioned the jail. I would imagine with the jail, we could bring in a lot of people that could question it. Mrs. Eisenhunt, I have no reason to suspect that she won't be a fine person, but the division in this room, I want to commend, first of all, those Republicans that voted in favor of ours. I'm not going to vote against Mrs. Eisenhunt because I recognize that it is the chairman's appointment, and I would be grandstanding to do less than that. And I think that to continue to refuse and suggest, as you did, Mr. Chairman, that the Democrats just need to come up with another candidate, refuses to acknowledge that it is the Democratic choice. We've had this on a few other issues, and I would ask you to do some soul searching and recognizing that this is probably not the battle that you should have chosen. You have the votes to undermine the appointment of the Democratic Party, and but I don't think you should stand tall. We haven't done it. Thank you.
I agree wholeheartedly with Mrs. Rhodes. I know Mr. Johnson has one of the utmost integrity. He's very community orientated, and the fact that he might have offended somebody by participating at a public meeting like any of us should be able to. Cause this appointment not to go through. I think it's an embarrassment to the legislator, and I do commend the members of the majority that I wrote.
Anyone else? Mr. Russell?
Mr. Chairman, I think what needs to be done is to go back to the record and listen to what Mr. Bronson said. It indicated that he was going to be biased based on his conversations with us. So I think that's the reason why many of us, that's the reason why I am not going to say yes to his nomination, because I think we need people who are as unbiased as possible.
Any more debate? Mr. Shaw. Question?
Roll
Second?
call vote, please.
Second, Mr. Hyde. All those in favor? Any opposed? On the resolution, all those in favor?
Roll call, please.
Roll call, I'm sorry, we'll call a roll.
Mr. Russell? On the appointment of Mrs. Eisenhunt.
Yes.
Shaw?
Yes.
Shaw. Weekly?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Schrader?
Yes.
Manine?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Hyde?
Yes.
Krasinski?
Yes.
Dano?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Bono?
Yes.
Ackerman?
Yes.
Kaplinski?
Yes.
Corse?
Yes.
Resolution passes. Number 156, the roll call.
Sale of county-owned tax-acquired land.
This resolution approves the sale of property sold at the recent county in-rem land auction. May I have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Corr, second. Mr. Hyde, any debate?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I move we go into an executive session to receive the advice of counsel.
Motion is made to go into executive session to seek the advice of counsel. Mr. Hendricks seconds it. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're in executive session. Back in session, folks. Regular session. I'm going to ask the clerk to reread the title of the resolution.
Resolution number 156, of the Committee on County Properties approving sale of county-owned tax-acquired land.
This resolution approves the sale of property sold at the recent county in-rem land auction. May I have a motion?
We have a motion, I believe, Mr. Chairman.
That's right. Correct.
Of course, Hyde.
This time I wasn't asleep.
Any more debate? Mr. Cordes?
Mr. Chairman, the full legislature has discussed a particular parcel and the parcels in general. And we feel that this resolution is fair to everyone that showed up at the land auction and gets the best deal on behalf of the taxpayers of Herkimer County. The sale was a bona fide, fair sale, and in the auction, it discusses several times that this thing is a fair, deliberate process and meant to achieve the best results for the taxpayers of Herkimer County. I go back 5 or 6 years when we made an exception and started to accept 3 times the taxes due. And we extended that deadline on parcels to 3 o'clock the day before the auction, I believe. So we've given everybody the best opportunity to bid on these parcels. And what happens is there are some that are rogue elephants every year. And they have no rhyme or reason to them, and they seem like strange deals, and some are. And some are pigs in a poke and will probably maybe be back next year, we don't know. But on behalf of all the people that came and competitively bid under a fair process, we need to move on this resolution and accept these results.
Any more debate? Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Hyde.
Yes.
Krasinski.
Yes.
Mano.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Bono.
Yes.
Ackerman.
Yes.
Kuklinski.
Yes.
Force.
Yes.
Russell.
Yes.
Shaw.
Yes.
Weekly.
Yes.
Hartman.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Schrader.
Yes.
Manine.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Hendricks.
And the resolution passes. Number 157.
Education needs a means to place in public hearing.
This resolution sets the public hearing on the 2013-2014 proposed operating budget for Herkimer County Community College. May I have a motion? Mr. Mano, second by Mr. Ackerman. Any debate? Mr. Mano.
Mr. Chairman, as I mentioned earlier, the public hearing will be on July 3rd, and I want to note that there will be no county money involved in this contract. No budget.
No increase.
No increase.
No increase.
Very good. Any other debate?
Yeah.
Can you clarify what you just was saying? What he's
Can you?
talking 157?
Mr. Mano?
Which one are we talking?
157, college budget.
Yeah, we're talking about the public hearing, right? On the budget, and I'm saying it's a budget, there's no increase in county budget.
Increase.
Okay. Any more debate? All in favor? Resolution passes. Number 158.
Education, Ways and Means awarding contracts for renovations of the college center.
This resolution awards contracts listed in connection with the renovation of the Robert McLaughlin College Center cafeteria/alumni hall project at Herkimer County Community College. May I have a motion? Mr. Mano, second by Mr. Johnson. Debate. Mr. Hartman.
Just for public information, can someone explain where the funding came from?
Again,
Good news.
Mr. Mano, can you?
Again, this is all HCC money, there's no county funds that's involved here. It's all state and private donations.
I think that's great.
Any more debate? Mr. Mano.
I just might want to mention the 3 contracts. For general construction, we're going to HRVB for $599,000. For the MVAC, we're going to Druzy Plumbing and Heating for $215,000. And for plumbing, we're going to Schmaltz Mechanical Contractors for $80,950.
Thank you. Anyone else? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution passes. Number 159.
On planning development, Ways and Means amending resolution 134 awarding bids for bus service.
This resolution amends resolution number 134 to make the changes listed in connection with the contract with Bunny Bus for the Old Forge area summer transportation program. May I have a motion? Mr. Russell, second by Mr. Kuklinski. Any debate? Mr. Russell.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I would like to move that we amend this motion to take up the third resolve, asking for $1 per day for each youth.
Motion is made, second by Mr. Hartman.
I'll second.
Second by everyone. I believe. Any debate? Mr. Rose.
I agree that it is not the wisest thing to say that the youth that are working up in Old Forge, going up in that program for $1 a day, that they'll get the transportation. It's not the most convenient mode of transportation, but it gets them there. And I'm sure the parents are relieved that they're not taking the family car to go do it. However, I would hope that we will have between now and before we get looking at this again next year, an earnest conversation with the business owners up there that benefit from the youth. They benefit, the owners also benefit the children with the jobs. They benefit with this youth, and I think it would not be unreasonable to ask that they participate in some fashion in the cost of these vehicles. It is in the budget, but you know what? It could be less in the budget next year and still provide the service if we could get some of the businesses that are enjoying the benefit of this waiver to contribute. So I am going to support deleting the $1, but hopeful that there can be dialogue before we get faced with this again next year.
Mr. Russell.
I think it should be noted that Mr. Wallace and I, on different occasions at several times, did talk to one of the people up there, and they were very willing, if Herkimer County didn't want to do this, to be able to take their workers out of Lewis County that also provides the bus. So I just think we need to be careful and think about this before we make any sudden moves.
Mr. Hartman.
I think it's a good opportunity to point out how wonderful this summer job program is. To me, it's been one of my most rewarding things to do. It's helping to get the young people jobs and all of us get that opportunity. It's great.
Anyone else? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
That's on the amendment.
The amendment passes. On the original. Any more debate? All in favor? Any opposed? Number 160.
Raise the means, public safety, amending resolution 28.
This resolution amends resolution number 28, authorizing contract with Richland County Bar Association for defense of indigent persons. May I have a motion? Mr. Russell, second. Mr. Ackerman. Any debate? Mrs. Rhodes.
Mr. Chairman, when the assigned counsel program became a contract, and we ended up with a contracted employee through the Bar Association, a contracted worker through the Bar Association, the original resolution afforded the individual a health insurance package as well as payment and malpractice premiums, and increased in the individual's malpractice premiums. I was vocal against it at the time. I continued to be vocal, and I was then concerned that if the individual was entitled to it, the individual should be paying tax on it. I'm pleased that Mr. Wallace heeded that, researched it, and the corrected 1099 position. At the same time, I think that it's an example where we have to be very careful when we're talking about whether someone is an employee or a contractor. When we had this conversation, the individual that has the position loses the health insurance that he enjoys through the county. We're told that our insurance provider does not allow a non-employee to be on our plan. And but I would like to say that I have nothing against this particular individual. I don't know him. I wouldn't know him if I walked up to him. It's about a process that I think needed to be better thought out, and I'm glad that we're resolving it now. Thank you.
Anyone else? All in favor? Now go to comments by legislator. Any comment? Mr. Mann? Oh, I'm sorry. Before we need to try to get everything done. Okay. And then we can let Carol. Okay, that's a good idea.
I'm just,
We'll go to comments by legislators. Mr. Mann?
As Yogi Berra once says, this is deja vu all over again. Remember Nairi, the company that wanted to send electricity from the Edict substation in Marcy to the Fraser substation? Eventually, they dropped out. But we knew that someone was going to come again. And now they have. Now a company called LS Power wants to do the same thing and follow the same Marcy South line. This time it is proposed almost entirely in Herkimer County, mainly Schuyler and West Frankfort. The exact route hasn't been determined. There are a couple of alternate routes that will take her closer to the village of Frankfort. There are still the same concerns: environmental, radiation. Also, maybe we will need to power ourselves for our own future economic development. I asked them if they could put it underground, and they said it's not feasible both economically and technically. I believe that New York City should develop their own power. Will they come back in 10 years and want more? They have a nuclear plant which they closed. They don't want windmills. They shouldn't have to depend on upstate to supply all their needs. We are already doing our part and supplying them with some power. They should explore getting power someplace else, maybe from the west of them. So I think that this is an important thing. We should keep our eyes open on this.
Anyone else? Mr. Corsi.
Mr. Chairman, about 5 weeks ago, Herkimer County Humane Society brought in 7 Maltese dogs that were part of a neglect case, not abuse, just neglect. The Maltese, if you know it or not, their teeth grow weird if they aren't attended to. And so we have a fund at the Herkimer County Humane Society called the Norma Kino Fund. It's in memory of Norma Kino. And it reacts to situations of emergency care for animals or medical needs that they need. So we tapped into the Norma Kino Fund, and all 6 or 7 of these Maltese received remedial dental work, and then were placed up for adoption. And then I'm going to follow up with this letter. 3 weeks ago, we adopted Millie, a Maltese, who was 7 years old. He is a very special dog. I've had 3 other dogs that we love very much, but Willie is the best ever. He is a gift sent from God. Willie gets us with his wagging tail, hugs and kisses for both of us. He was at one time a very well-trained and loved dog and precious dog. If either of us leaves us for a few minutes, he is up and looking for us and greets us like we've been gone for the day. He has gained weight, he is healthy, and he looks good. He's not a beggar for food, but likes his 2 meals a day, just like his papa. Then he lies patiently for us to finish. He never makes a mess with the food or water. He sits and waits for me to wash his face. Unreal. I have also washed his feet when he comes back inside, and he's eating dry dog food with no problems now. He winks at me when I wink at him. I love it. He does high five, he plays patty cake as well, and sits and stays and lays down. Who could ask for more? Thank you so much for letting us adopt Willie. He's an exceptional companion for my husband, who is housebound. And it has brought him much joy, and they lie side by side for hours on end. And this is just an example every once in a while, and here's a picture of him, and it's Shirley Lennon, Montsegal Street in William. And I want to thank the legislature on behalf of the Herkimer County Humane Society. We just received the second half of our appropriation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Corsi, does a Kino Fund, does they cover teenagers?
I don't know.
Mr. Russell has.
I just wondered if I could ask Mr. Corsi a question.
Sure.
Did they have some pups too in that?
In the Maltese group, yes, I think.
Yeah, I think one of them left a specimen at my house, so. Very pretty dog.
Mr. Harper.
That was a wonderful story. I wonder if she could come talk to my cat. He knocks over his water bowl all the time just for kids. I'm not sure if the other legislators were aware of this, but I kind of poke around on legal websites, and I did notice that the Court of Appeals on June 6th granted the Village of Herkimer leave to appeal, so the case will be heard before the Court of Appeals. So I just wanted to inform the legislators and leadership that they weren't.
That's on workman's comp.
Yeah.
Just for everybody.
Yes, that's on the workers' comp case. So the jail litigation will come before the Court of Appeals sometime there in September.
Anyone else? Mr. McClinsky.
Everyone, hopefully you've seen the invitation on your desk from Cornell Cooperative Extension. Before our next meeting, which is a quarterly meeting at 2 o'clock, that's Wednesday, July 3rd, they will be having an open house, and all are invited. What they'll do is staff will be there to provide updates on agriculture, nutrition, youth development. Hopefully you can attend. They usually have some very healthy food available, and if you do intend to, they would appreciate a quick call. The number's in the invitation. Again, you're all invited.
Mr. Schrader.
I'd like to take this time to thank one of my constituents, Sue Overholt, for 33 years of service for the county. And I think that the county was very lucky to have her for 33 years, and from what I hear, she did a wonderful job. I just want to
Ray, did you?
No.
Okay.
Wait a minute, the gentleman to my right said that I didn't give the time, from noon to 1 o'clock. Our meeting's at 2, the invitation to the open house is from...
I just want to say one thing, too. This past weekend, if you didn't have a chance to go to the Violet Festival in Dolgeville, you missed a great hometown event. If anything says hometown pride, it's the Violet Festival in Dolgeville. Our own Ray Smith was His Royal Highness for the day. He was the king of the parade and the event. Great event, hour and 45-minute parade with no fire trucks. So that's something we said. All the marching bands, the old-time marching bands. I mean, it was. That's great.
Was he the funny guy running
Who's
around with
Mayberry?
that purple hat on?
Yes, purple hat.
Right.
Helen.
Just a reminder for anyone who's here that didn't know or hasn't read about the meeting that we have Monday night at 7:30 with an architect who's interested in sharing why the jail can be more compact. But at the same time, Mr. Chairman, you reached out to the State Commission on Corrections, and they'll be present here to just review, not to answer our questions, but be present. And I'm encouraging people who want to hear about it to be able to come to the meeting, and I'm hoping that we'll have a good turnout just for people all to hear what will be discussed in the Public Safety Committee, right where it belongs to be discussed. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Once, twice? That's right, we're not going to adjourn. We're going to go into executive session to discuss litigation.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session under the Public Officers Law, Section 105D, discuss proposed litigation, and also under Public Officers Law, Section 105E, discuss collective negotiation as pursuant to Article 14 of the Civil Service.
Arrest for 100.
Sounds ominous.
Second by Hyde. Going into executive session, all in favor? Any opposed? We are in executive.
Sign?
For those who
Is there one we gotta sign?
We have a resolution that needs to be signed by the committee in order to bring it forward here. And as soon as the committee signs that resolution,
We got 3 signed already.
we will present a new resolution, number 161.
We got 4 signed.
Almost.
4 signed.
We have 4 signatures now. So I move that.
Can you tell what it is?
You're a person? How? Vern.
Title first.
Thank you, ma'am.
What is it? Give me a second. 1 second, Mr. Malone has to check down the technicality.
Absolutely.
This will be, I think, resolution number 161, of the Committee on Ways and Means appropriating funds for payment of special prosecutor.
And this resolution will,
Appropriate funds from the contingency of the budget and purchasing. It'll be in the amount of $33,400.
okay. We need unanimous consent.
Yes. So moved. Do we have unanimous consent to
Of
consider
course,
this resolution?
second by Mr. Hyde. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Roll call vote?
Gotta be moved.
Discussion? Oh, you moved it, I thought that.
I did, somebody say.
I'll give it a second. But, Mr. Chairman, this resolution pays for a special prosecutor because our court system had to recuse himself from a case. I just wish the district attorney had notified the Public Safety Committee early in the process that this was a possibility. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any more discussion or debate?
I'm satisfied with the explanation from the county attorney and the additional information see that, at least from the eyes of the court, and the eyes of the attorneys, that this was a reasonable charge, given the complexity of the case and the potential could have been much greater.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Shaw?
Yeah.
Weekly?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Schrader?
Yes.
Manning?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Hyde?
Yes.
Brzezinski?
Yes.
Mano?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Bono?
Yes.
Ackerman?
Yes.
McClinsky?
Yes.
Corse?
Yes.
17.
Resolution passes. And that concludes our agenda.
Before I move for adjournment, I want to mention that the Historical Society this morning had their annual fundraising breakfast. I believe 8 legislators participated. They had raffles, and they also had a thing going to see who got the most tips. And I have just been informed that my colleague on my left here was the winner with $380. They also got excellent coverage on WKTV.
We had a great time.
I move that we adjourn to Wednesday, July 3rd at 2 p.m. with the public hearing for the HCC budget at 1:30.
Second, Mr. Hyde, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Get out of here.